We will rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone, on this rainy, snowy Tuesday morning. We have a pretty good list of items on the agenda today, but I will be beginning with the dispensing of the minutes from January 3rd. Do I have a motion or any modifications to the January 3rd meeting minutes?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
We have a motion by Commissioner Catchmark, second by Commissioner Shane. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting minutes are approved unanimously. Today's agenda, is there anything that we need to add to today's agenda? Members? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
All right, motion by Commissioner Holland,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Catchmark. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Agenda is approved unanimously. Moving on to today's consent agenda. Would anyone like to remove any items from today's consent agenda for further discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
just A1, couple changes to the meeting minutes for the workshop.
Okay. We have a motion. Can I get a motion then to approve the consent agenda with the removal of A1?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Catchmark,
Second.
second by Commissioner Shane. All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, minutes are approved. And with the, or not minutes, the consent agenda is approved unanimously with the removal of A1. Minutes from the workshop on January 10th. Commissioner Catchmark.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a correction first on page 7 of 10, fourth paragraph from the bottom where it starts out, Catchmark asked about the local option sales tax, and that should be in 2022. So that change there, it's, there's a typo or something there instead of the word in. Then on page 8 of 10, we're talking about ERP informational discussion under number 4. 1, 2, 3. The start of the fourth paragraph, there should be a line interjected in there that Catchmark has heard concerns from staff on how tickets, we'll put that in quotes, were handled and the follow-up of the tickets. And that's all I had, so I'd make a motion to approve that item with those couple corrections.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Catchmark and a second by Commissioner Dietrich to approve the workshop minutes on January 10th with the modifications as stated. Those statements that Commissioner Catchmark has made are true. I do remember those statements being made. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved from the workshop on January 10th. We're right on schedule almost to our first timed agenda item. Ross DeMont will come forward here. We have authorized the Park and Recreations Department to proceed with Phase 2 as relates to the creation of construction and bidding documents to the Schroeder Park Campground.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Yeah, the staff is looking to be authorized to proceed to Phase 2, which is relates to the construction and creation of bidding documents for the redesign of the Schroeder Park Campground. And I think part of your packet, you may have the current design that we're looking at right now that upgrades the north loop to 50 amp service. It also provides a entrance coming into the campground, which currently doesn't exist in the middle. The current entrance, which comes on the north side of the campground, serves as both the campground entrance and the day use entrance. That would still exist and would just be for the day use area. This phase 2, we would be working with our current consultant. We have a signed agreement with them. We'd be working with them to proceed. The initial cost estimates for the current construction phases, which would include a contact station as part of this, which would be kind of relocating the staff office to be closer to the middle, better serves the campground, and also for some requirements, we need to provide bathrooms within about 400 feet of each campsite. Locating the contact station there satisfies that. So it also gets the contact station or our staff's presence closer to the day use area also. Current engineering quotes or estimates are $1,450,554. That is covered underneath the funds that are currently set aside, which are about $1.3 million, in addition to the $134,000 from the Schroeder Campground Improvement Fund, which is based off of a $5 daily use fee that we recover from that and gets put into the improvement fund specifically for improvements at Schroeder Park.
So Ross, with this construction going forward, will there be any loss of sites at all during the construction at all? Just this is a highly sought after campground. Just curious in the construction when it would come to that point, if it would, we would see any kind of closure of any of the sites during that period of time?
Our goal is to push this past Labor Day, so that to start that as close as we can, kind of estimating and working with contractors to make sure that happens. So, yep.
At least avoid the high season of that June, July, August as much as possible.
Correct.
Okay. So that's kind of part of the bidding documents then, is asking that for the delayed construction then?
Yes, yes, and all this information will come back, so we're not, there's no approvals to move forward with the construction. This is just to go out for bid and the creation of construction documents. Anything that is created from there will come back for final approval here.
Great, thank you. Is there any other questions?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Thank you. I had a chance to talk to Ross a little bit this morning, and as I'm looking at this, we're getting used to a new format for the agendas here. Under finance review, it says 1.3 million is set aside through ARPA, so American Rescue Plan, and what's the second A stand for?
Good question. That's,
Well, so was that originally actual ARP that got channeled into the general fund in order to be able to be used for a project like this?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, a good guess then. All right. And we had talked, do you think someone could do some research along with the next step to talk about the park dedication funds and what might be available to go to a project like this?
Yeah, we certainly can. Yep, that can be part of when we bring back the bid for approval. We can also include that as part of the financing portion of it too. It would be good practice for me to figure out that process. I'm used to the city side of things, so it'd be good to figure out the township portion of that.
And I've had constituents that have brought up this process and look at the money that is getting taken for this and where is it going and what are the rules. So I'd like to see on this side if more or some could be applied rather than taking all that from the general fund. But I think it'd be good to review for the board.
Yes, certainly can.
Judge on that committee. She's approved this. This is the request of our Wright County bench to have attorneys present in keeping with that statutory mandate. I'll finally just add that we have Kathleen Gabriel as our contract attorney. Kathleen Gabriel has been doing this work for many years. She's an expert in child protection law, to say the least. This will save the county money in the long term. Having an attorney present earlier in the proceedings is good for parents, it's good for the administration of justice, it's good for the county though in general, because what happens is when we have attorneys appointed later in the process, we have people digging into their positions, we have services that are offered already without a lot of guidance from the attorney. What happens is when we have an attorney early in the process, they can settle a matter, they can get to the heart of the issue, it saves the county money that I can't even quantify at this point, expert witness fees, attorney time, et cetera. So this, in the end, is a huge cost savings to the county. So I would ask the court, or I would ask the board, sorry, I got in court there for a second. I'd ask the board to approve the contract.
Any discussion? Any questions, board members? All right, with that, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
All right, motion by Commissioner Dietrich, second by Commissioner Holland. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Contract is approved unanimously.
Mr. Chair? I
Yes.
just want to say thank you to Gabrielle for all her work for the county already and moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just add that, I worked with Kathy for 6 years, and I just can't speak her, praises just high enough. She's one of the best opposing counsel I've ever worked with, and so we're just so fortunate to have her. And I just really cannot say much more good about Kathleen Gabriel as an attorney and as a colleague. Thank you.
Kathleen, thank you for taking the trip out here today, and thank you for your service to Wright County. All right, moving on to our 9:15. It looks like Chad's here in place of Virgil.
Good morning. This week is actually the annual County Engineers Conference up at Cragun's. So he's there today, and then I actually have a meeting in Hanover tonight, so I figure I'll just not head up there today, but Mr. Chair, Commissioners, we have one item today. It's fairly simple, just to schedule a committee of the whole meeting at an agreeable date and time in February. And then also if we have any discussion items for agenda topics. So first step, I guess, is pick a date. And then Virgil put out some potential dates on the bottom of the RFP. First week of February, and then looks like the third week of February. I'm actually out on the first week of February on vacation, so not that that should be the deciding factor. If that works for everybody else, then we can definitely cover with other staff.
Board, just from a planning standpoint, I may recommend that we look at the afternoon of Tuesday, the 21st, just because that gives us a little more lead time. Plus, I know staff availability sounds like it's limited for that first week as well. So just a recommendation to consider.
All right. So, sorry, Lee, repeat yourself again. I'm trying to pull up an item on my calendar on there. So.
Sure, fair enough.
So we're looking at somewhere around the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th week.
The dates that were recommended by Virgil and highway staff were the first week, either Monday 2/6, Wednesday 2/7. I believe it intended to write Wednesday 2/8, which I know there's a conflict that day. The 20th is President's Day, 21st and 22nd, so skipping either that first week of February or third week of February.
Okay, that's what it was. I was skipping that week. Okay, so.
Yep. So just, I threw out the recommendation of the 21st to give a little more lead time for planning.
I think that would be the best way to go, is meeting on the 21st, so giving time. We have board meeting. You want to go after the board meeting? Should we say 10:30 or 11 on the 21st? Let's shoot for 10:30. I would look for a motion to set a transportation committee of the whole on February 21st at 10:30 a.m.
I'll go ahead and make that.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Shane,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Catchmark. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. So as members see, there's some listed items there to review. Updated and minor changes to the 5-year construction improvement plan would be one of the proposed agenda items, as well as the review of the local option sales tax program and kind of revenue to date and items that are on the project list to date. I've had a number of individuals contact me as of recently that want to have share some statistics, and they want the county to collect statistics in discussion of a transportation safety issue regarding the intersection of County Road 39 and Clementa, as that's a project that's slated to have construction on that road in 2027, or is it 2026? They wanted to get in front of it so as to see if there's things that can be done to that intersection because of the number of accidents that have happened as of recently.
Actually, 2025.
For 2025, it's even sooner, yeah.
Yep. Yep. And then, like I said, we've got a couple minor changes on our end for the 5-year plan. We're working with cities. We're splitting a project in Monticello, so we'll make that update, try to make it as accurate as can. I don't want to have updates every 6 months, but once a year, every couple of years if we need to. And then number 3 would be the other, and I don't know how soon we have to finalize the agenda if we have it the 21st.
21st, it'd be nice to have that the week before, that Wednesday by noon.
So we have a little bit of time if you guys want, if there's things that come up before the 21st, but those are the 2 that we want to discuss, so.
And then, so if you can add that 3rd item for that intersection on 39 and Clementa, yep. All right,
All right,
I think we're great.
thank you.
Thank you. Members, if you have other items that need to be added or discussed at that Transportation Committee of the Whole, either contact administration or contact Chad to get those placed on there prior to publication. All right. Well, we are a little bit ahead of our 9:30 years of service, so we'll move on to items for consideration. Item number 1 is discuss the upcoming AMC Legislative Conference for February 21st to the 23rd. The practice here at the county is that at these conferences, we just authorize attendance of the board and then make publication that we would be in attendance of these functions as a group, just letting the public know that to avoid any open meeting law discussion type items, that we put that out there that we would be at that function.
Will that be a conflict with the 21st that we just set up?
Mr. Chair, if I could, looking at the schedule that's been provided, the first item is an optional on the afternoon, which is some testimony training if you wish to sign up. Otherwise, it's largely just a registration time as well as the MRC meeting that evening at 5 if you wish to attend. So the bulk of the conference is Wednesday, the 22nd, and the following day, the 23rd. So I don't believe we'll have a conflict.
Yeah, generally, most of us don't go the first day because it's mostly the day for the people that are driving from Roseau or International Falls that are driving from a substantial distance to get there. For local people, mostly come for the Wednesday morning and Thursday. All right. So I guess with that, it's just needed a motion to approve and authorize the attendance of the AMC Legislative Conference in February for the county board.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chair.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Ketchmark,
Second.
second by Commissioner Dietrich. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion passes unanimously. All right, the second item was the approval of the county board workshop recommendations from January 12th. As you've seen included in your packet, there's a number of bullet points, many of which are just informational items, but the first item was the recommendation was to schedule a retreat for 9 a.m. to noon on Wednesday, February 8th for the county board. The second recommendation was to schedule a broadband committee at 9 a.m. on Wednesday, January 18th. The third item was to schedule a committee of the whole meeting at 10:30 a.m. Wednesday, January 18th to discuss the vacant Health and Human Services the vacant Health and Human Services business manager position, the potential tax issues surrounding the solar energy storage, and to support Commissioner Vetch's discussion on these issues on behalf of the county board related to the energy storage. The fourth item was to schedule a committee of the whole closed session to review auditor treasurer, discuss expectations at 11:30 a.m. on Wednesday, January 18th. The fifth item was to direct staff to provide information regarding the phone services received by the county at all locations, specifically the name of current phone carriers and how they are selected, the cost per line, the long distance policy, the number of lines currently being billed for at the government center, and the phone policies for the organizations that lease space from the government center. The sixth item was the board packet scheduling to allow administration staff time to become acquainted with the new procedures surrounding the creation of weekly board packets with the intention of moving the timeline up as able, providing commissioners adequate time to prepare. That was a discussion about moving those board packets to a noon distribution on Thursdays. We're in line to hopefully move it that way somewhere by midpoint of this year. And then change to board schedule to move board meetings in July due to the 4th of July to Tuesday, July 11th and 25th, and Tuesday, July 18th for board workshop. And the last item, item number 8, I'm sorry, not last item, is the recommendation to close session to discuss IT security, schedule a committee of the whole for such. In the item number 9, recommendation, recommend the Economic Development Authority continue with the sale of the Health and Human Services with the county EDA. And then we had the informational items of the GIS, the CMRP, and the ERP, and the discussion of the snow removal process and to continue the process as in place at this time. With that, I'll entertain a motion for the workshop recommendations.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Dietrich, second by Commissioner Shane. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, there's generally not that many recommendations, but we covered a lot of topics. So, then moving here, we are 2 minutes shy. All right, let's see, what can we, items, we can schedule a Ways and Means Committee to discuss updated Wright County Policy 710, 711. The Ways and Means Committee would be myself and Commissioner Holland. What is staff's?
Mr. Chair, as you may recall, this was brought up at a meeting in December, brought forward and laid over to this meeting. Staff is recommending that we move it to Ways and Means for further discussion. Looking, again, at schedules, how far out do you want to go? If you want to look at potentially during the week of the 12th. We do have a number of committee of the whole items as recommended by the workshop to schedule on today's agenda, so as well. So trying to fit all of that in with times that work. So
I'm good on, if you want to go on a Wednesday, that's fine, or even, I'd probably avoid the 14th because I don't know, we might be getting pretty full in our workshop as it is. We might get pretty late in the day.
okay.
Commissioner Holland, how does the 15th look for you?
Looks good for me.
All right, you thinking like a 9, 10 a.m.?
Yep,
Which one would you rather have?
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter?
Works for you.
All right, let's go 9 a.m.
Yeah.
All right, we have a 9 a.m. Ways and Means on February 15th. All right, would you like to make a motion for that, Commissioner Holland?
I'll make that motion.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Holland for a Ways and Means on February 15th at 9 a.m. Can I get a second for that?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Catchmark. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, Ways and Means is scheduled for February 15th at 9 a.m. Now we can move back to the employee recognition here. So it looks like we have a few faces here. We'll start off with the 25 and work our way down. I don't see Brian Johnson in the room, but we thank Brian Johnson for 25 years of service. Now, moving to our 20-year group, we have Wanda Marsh. Don't see, thanks, Wanda. And we have Karen Bausch. And we have Barbara Schlimley. Thank you for our 20 years of service. In our 15 years, we have Craig Mueller from Planning and Zoning. We have Judy Voigt, Sheriff's Office. And then we have Catherine Lehman from Health and Human Services. Kathleen, no. All right, thank you for our 15-year service. And 10 years, we have Stacy McNaughton from the Attorney's Office. And we have Gina Sandin from the Sheriff's Office. And we have Katie Brown from Health and Human Services. And in our 5 years, we have Jeremy Bausch from the Sheriff's Office. We have Connor Gerards from the Sheriff's Office. Lauren Green from Highway. And we have Jacob Anson from Health and Human Services. We have Matthew Detchen from Park and Rec. We have Dustin Hostler from the Sheriff's Office. We have Trinity Nathy from the Recorder's Office. We have Ian Werpla from the Sheriff's Office. We have Carrie Brings from the Sheriff's Office. And Charity Mielman from the Sheriff's Office. And Jason Altsman from the Sheriff's Office. Thank you for your 5 years of service. Great to see the good retention of great employees here at the county. We thank you for all of your hard work and time that you put in here for the citizens of Wright County. Continue the wonderful efforts. And staff, department heads, please grab your mugs for your department employees that were not able to be present today. We appreciate that effort. All right. Moving back to the items for consideration. Under Administration A, we are on the Schedule A Committee of the Whole to discuss phones, as it was a recommendation from the workshop. Also want to put on that same Committee of the Whole an education and discussion on the claims process, as there's questions from fellow board members and wanting an education on it. So we're going to use that same meeting to have a little bit of a walkthrough on the claims process. With that, let's have a discussion, open up calendars, and looking at a time and date for this. I guess I'm going to Administrator Clay, your recommendations on where you're at from getting all the information that was requested for the phone discussion.
Yeah, good morning, Chair and members of the board. We have had a few staff meetings to talk about this. We've got a lot of information that we need to pull together for it before we'd be able to get it done. So I'd say you're probably looking at 3 to 4 weeks before we'd have something concrete that we could put forward. But at that time, we should have all the information that you're requesting. So
looking
at that busy week of February 21st or around that time again to schedule something.
That's what I'm wondering if we should go. We just scheduled on the 21st at 10:30.
And do it after the 10:30? Is that what you're thinking?
We can do that. Go with I'd probably say we go with we can go 1 o'clock on that one, or
Yeah, 21st.
21st
Okay.
at 1 o'clock for a committee of the whole to discuss the claims process and phones in the county. Lindsay, do you have some background of it? I think really what they're looking for is just a flow chart of how the expenditures from when they're incurred to paid to approved to payment out, and getting an understanding of it. And really, because the process that where we are right now is just from a statutory standpoint of recognizing the expenditures in which that practice needs to be done. And it's more the fact that for the due diligence of time, because if we would go to approving the claims and then submitting payment, we could be late on making payments, especially with the infrequency of our board meetings, because with only meeting twice a month, there could be periods of time where there could be 3 to 4 weeks from being able to get those expenditures out. And also the second fact is we really, in most cases, don't have any justification to not make payment on the expenses incurred. We would end up putting ourselves in litigation if we didn't actually make those payments. So really, it's more the fact is to make the board as elected officials aware of how the county is spending its money so that it can work the food chain up to make changes if they see necessary, not so much to not make payments on expenses incurred, but to change practices if necessary. All right. All right, thank you. Moving on to we have a motion for that February 21st.
I'll make that motion.
All right, by Commissioner Ketchmark,
Second.
second by Commissioner Shane. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. All right. Moving on to filling up our calendars here, we'll schedule another committee of the whole for a closed session for discussion of security IT. Mr. Fomby, do you have particular dates in mind?
Whatever works for you.
He makes it easy.
He does.
All right. Well, I think we filled up the 21st now, so I think that one's off. The 22nd and 23rd are off limits. We can go to the 15th. Myself and Commissioner Holland are busy at 9, but the Ways and Means meeting will be an hour tops, I would suspect. Oh, yeah, we can do February 7th. How does February 7th?
Yep, yep.
All right, 2/7 at 10:30. All right, and I'll entertain a motion for that.
I'll go ahead and make that motion for February 7th, 10:30.
We have a motion by Commissioner Shane,
I'll second that.
second by Commissioner Holland. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair, just how long a meeting will that be? We can put it on the calendar? Possibly.
Depends on how many questions you ask,
Sure.
but I would at least plan an hour.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we have a motion, we have a second to schedule a closed session committee of the whole for IT security on February 7th at 10:30 a.m. Hearing no other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Committee of the whole is scheduled for February 7th at 10:30 a.m. All right, now we're on to item B on items for consideration, a closed session under the Minnesota statute regarding the employee pending litigation for employee retirement association. Do I have to read the statute on this one or no?
Mr. Chair, we can just state that pursuant to Minnesota Statute 13D, the open meeting law, we're going to be closing this session to discuss pending litigation in the matter of Wright County petitioner versus the Public Employees Retirement Association et al., matter number 3600-38743.
I'll make that motion.
All right. We have a motion by Commissioner Ketchmark,
Second.
second by Commissioner Dietrich. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. We are now going into closed session. Now moving on to the seventh item on the agenda, the advisory committee updates. Fellow board members, this is our time that we as a board share what we've had for advisory meetings over the last couple of weeks and just try to take 2 to 3 minutes or less to give an update to the board. Administrator Kelly, I'm going to start with you over there. You got anything
All
to
right,
share?
very good. Just a quick update again on labor relations negotiations. We did receive another agreement with the Teamsters Group, has voted that up, so we do have one unit left to go. We are in the process of scheduling mediation with that group for sometime in February. So just an update on that. Did have the opportunity, along with Commissioner Vetch and Elizabeth Carls, to meet with Emmer's group about a week and a half ago regarding broadband and some of the challenges of coordinating that and getting funds released. So I thought it was a very good meeting. Appreciate the forum that they provided us. So with that, I'll conclude my comments.
Commissioner Ketchmark?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Had a MRC, Minnesota Rural Counties meeting, talked about legislative priorities, which are pretty much the same as what we've had and discussed already. It's interesting to hear the different takes on different strategy on how to move forward with them. There was a Highway 12 coalition meeting. They've done pretty well in achieving a lot of their goals from east to Delno on 12. Now they're looking at what we can do from west of the Hennepin County line on Highway 12. We had a 12-mile creek meeting that was led by Soil and Water to get input from people that live along the 12-mile creek, which is in District 5, and there's several lakes that are affected, and there's going to be some money available that Soil and Water is going to get, and they're going to look at some water, it's got to be water quality related items along these ditches and lakes. And it was interesting, there was good participation. We had it in the auxiliary boardroom last week, and just to hear the different initiatives that are going to come forward and possibilities for water quality issues with this creek and related other bodies of water. And that's all I had, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Shane?
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, I went to my first as an elected official to our township meeting. Several of you were also there with me. I'm going to be starting to meet with my cities now. I also went to the I-94 Coalition annual legislative priorities. So, and 9 legislators were there. So that was really great to see the involvement and where all the power comes from, standing united. Also, the chair of transportation, Representative Frank Hornstein was there. He was the first one that introduced to me the corridors of commerce. So it was good to see him, and he's still following through. Their main goals are to decrease the travel time and enhance capacity. So we just keep looking forward to being a strong voice and advocating on these transportation issues. I also brought, copied off kind of to what is going on 94 so that you can stay up to date on that. They just received $3 million towards this project, got that probably about a month ago. So I'll hand these out.
Thank you. Anything else? Or I appreciate the update on the I-94. So I'll just quickly note that we had an AIS meeting that was rescheduled for February. We had some updates with the Wright County Economic Development Partnership as we try to find ways to assist the Wright Technical Center, who is in a little bit of a more complicated struggle at this time with the financial woes that school districts across the state of Minnesota are facing. Had a couple different union negotiation meetings this past week. And then, as well as Administrator Kelly stated, the meeting with Representative Emmer and his staff regarding the broadband in the RDOF areas and the challenges that we're facing was a good discussion. Hopefully we can move forward with some changes that can move some construction forward. Commissioner Holland.
Commissioner Fetch and fellow commissioners. I attended the Public Health Task Force meeting, a great group. They had a good report on the dental clinic, seeing a lot of people utilizing that. In fact, they say right now 48% are kids. They do save time every day for emergency appointments for anyone that attends the ER and then needs an emergency dental procedure, or if you're, not able to get in your own dentist. And then they're scheduling out quite a few months in advance. I did notice that they were very excited about the whole dental concept that we have here. And I did ask them if they would come and give a presentation to the new board members that maybe at a workshop, so we can kind of see what we have and what's going on there. And then we had someone, I forgot his name, Garrett, I think, talk about radon. And he's pushing the county to do more radon testing. This is the time of the year to do it because it's winter. He's going to be working with the cities to promote radon testing. And he did say there's kind of a little struggle right now with lack of inspections. Some homeowners are foregoing inspections, and that's usually where they get some of their radon testing done. But overall, very good meeting. And then Tina and I attended the Wright County Community Action meeting. And that was very interesting too, talking about Head Start and WIC and seeing their excitement in their program. I did learn that the county does not have any affiliation with this group. I always thought it was part of Wright County, but they're a separate entity, and it was really fun learning about that organization. Commissioner Dietrich.
All right. Mr. Chair, fellow commissioners, I had a lot of meetings. Thank you for going over some of those. The first one was the Bertram Park Advisory Board. We did not have a quorum because 2 people had resigned their appointment. So we did just an overview of the Bertram Park progress. A lot of learning for me, and this, just how it became to be with the support of the City of Monticello, Wright County, and the Friends of Bertram Park. So it's kind of neat and to see where they're going. So we could take no action. So it was good to meet people and kind of move forward with that. I also attended the Wright County Park and Rec. We got a little bit from Ross today, and so just a couple more items. We did have a trail grooming and equipment and process. Staff updated us on. They've been really busy grooming the trails in the parks, and it's just kind of interesting. We went out and saw the equipment and all the hours and time and process that comes with that, and just how appreciative people are. They use the trails a lot in our parks. We have a great system. We got an update from the MORC, that's Minnesota Off-Road Cyclists, that they do all volunteer grooming for the off-road bike trails themselves. It's just a bunch of volunteers, and that's kind of really neat, the amount of hours and time that they put into that. We did talk about the grant that Bertram Park received. It's $80,000 that our Matt Dengen had put together and received. It's for restoration on a section of that park there. So getting rid of some buckthorn, those kind of things. So it'll be, I think he said it's a two-year kind of phase, 2 to 3 years that they'll work at replacing it with more native vegetation, that kind of thing. So, and then of course the Schroeder Park update that we talked about today for that next phase in the park upgrade. Let me see here. Then just an update on, they talked about programs and those updates and the use, and then ski rentals, snowshoe rentals, and then there's cabins that they're renting out this summer in Bertram Park as well. I didn't know that. So anyway, I'll move on. I also attended the Opioid Settlement Advisory Council. Wright County will be receiving $4 million over an 18-year period to put towards mitigating the opiate abuse. There's still a survey available on the Wright County website. The more people that put their input on there, it's to give feedback on the prioritization of the funding. So it's important to get that feedback from Wright County residents, people involved or interested in how we address this via prevention, recovery, treatment, harm reduction, and through the criminal justice system. Also discussed attending the Prescription and Illicit Drug Summit Conference in April, and then kind of beginning discussions on how that solicitation to distribute those funds which would be reflected again from the survey, and then they're taking into consideration also the data from the community health assessment that we had talked about last week. So it's kind of a holistic, kind of just putting things together and see how we can best use that money for our Wright County residents. Let's see. I attended the Safe Communities of Wright County. A couple things. It was a welcome to the new members, executive director update, year-end financials, kind of the annual meeting. And then we talked about and handed out DOSI screening cards, which is a kind of an assessment to determine someone's cognitive ability, if possibly it would be, that could be then referred to if they should be driving on the road. Not necessarily impairment by drug or alcohol, but, just impairment on the road. The goal of Safe Communities of Wright County is to reduce crashes, to minimize injuries and death on our roads. So, I mean, so they passed out those, and they're also put some promotional videos and PSAs that they'll be sharing on their website. And we had a PowerPoint presentation on Minnesota's Crash Public Portal, which anybody can use. There's a lot of data points that you can put into it, weather, road conditions, speed, and to get really pertinent information for what you're trying to address. I went to the online. We had a Highway 55 Corridor Coalition meeting. We discussed the $43 million application to expand the 4 lanes in Loretto from County Road 118 to County Road 19, and that's a corridor of commerce application. And they will be meeting via Zoom with the chair of the Department of Transportation. And that will be like the city of Loretto and some members of the coalition.
So I'm assuming the city of Loretto must have been the agency that applied for the Corridors of Commerce funding.
Yeah, yep. And I also attended a Minnesota Crime Crossroads Forum presentation by Rafael Manuel addressing the impact of defunding the police and decarceration and its impact on public safety. Really good information on that. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Dietrich. Is there anything else any board members or Administrator Kelly would like to state before we close the meeting? If not, we will end the meeting here at 10:12.